have a light little story here. This happened around 20 years ago and totally just was the strangest shit in my life. Like, at the time it happened, I didn't even really think it was really happening. 20 years ago, I was a bit loose and wild. Extremely loose and wild. And all I wanted to do was work and forget the day away with late night partying. And I did that with people who like to do the same thing. Somehow you just managed to find each other. And yeah, so that's what I was doing. Anyway, I was living in Sydney at the time when this happened. So Sydney is the city in Australia, and it is 2 hours away, 2.5 hours away to Newcastle. I was working in Sydney, but my parents, they had a house. They live in Newcastle. That's where I was heading. I think I was heading straight to a friend's though, if I recall. So it was like a Friday evening. I finished work and I was coming down the freeway. So we have this thing called the freeway. It's, a 2-hour long stretch of road that you sit on from the Pacific Highway, and you turn onto the freeway at I think at around Hornsby Way. So it's like 10 at night, and I must have been on the late shift. I was working at a place in Northern Beaches, North Sydney-ish way. Then I finished Friday night, got on the road. There's not as many people on the road, but there's still quite a few people that are on the freeway at that hour, getting ready to hit the road, also to escape the traffic, because it's such a congested road during the day, and especially around peak time. So anyway, 10 p.m. I'm on the dark road. I've hit the freeway and I'm driving down this dark stretch of road. I'm probably already about 45 minutes into the drive, and so it's super dark, and there's 3 lanes, and there's on my left side there's just all bushland. It's just gum trees everywhere. If I can find footage of it, I'll insert it just so that you get the feel for it. But it's mostly just driving on a road with trees and mountains, and just road for hundreds of kilometers, because it's about 200 kilometers, probably about 45 minutes into the drive. And I think that's around the I'm probably already around the Central Coast way, Gosford, just before Gosford, or maybe before the Muni Bridge, probably around there somewhere. But it was dark, and there was still cars behind me. I wasn't alone on the road. And anyway, I was driving along in the middle lane, and I could see cars behind me and to my left and right in my rear vision mirror. They were all spaced out, no one was on top of each other, but it was several hundred meters behind me, at least 4 or 5 car lengths. I'm really bad with measurements. Anyway, I'm flying down the freeway, and all of a sudden I see this big light orb coming close, in my rear vision mirror. Okay, so I'm looking at my rear vision mirror, and I still see that car behind me, and there's also trucks on the road, because trucks love to go down the freeway at night, because there's nothing getting in their way. So I'm looking at the rear vision mirror, and I'm still seeing a car like several hundred meters behind me. And then all of a sudden I see this like big orb of light come in low, same height as the trees next to me. The trees are on my left, and it came in at the same height as the canopy, which isn't that high if you know Sydney roads, or like if you're familiar with the freeway, but it's just the standard height of a gum tree. Yeah. So, I mean, it was pretty low, even though those trees are like quite tall. It was pretty low, and it came down lower because it came down to just above the top of the car that I could see behind me in my rear vision mirror. But then to the left and right of it was another one flanking the one in the middle. So there was another round orb of light coming in, flanking it in to the left of the one in the middle behind my rear vision mirror and above the car that I could see as well. And then to the right of that one, there was another ship that was there as well, but it was a different shape. It was black, and it was more triangular, and it was a matte black. It was more aerodynamic. Hey you guys, it's Editing Cat here. So to explain this triangular craft, I tried to create an AI image of it, but it's just so difficult to recreate it or get it anywhere near close to what I saw. It is like nothing I have ever seen. This to me is what I inputted into Grok. It kind of had like this 4-point like wingspan. Oh, is it 4? I don't know. Like it had like 4 like cutouts, triangular cutouts, but it was quite expansive in terms of the spread of the wingspan and how it was distanced. It was unlike anything I have ever seen. I looked at heaps of pictures. I looked at these types of pictures, like these stealth bombers. It sort of had like a top sort of futuristic like that, maybe a wingspan like this, but not cut out like this. It was had like a lot of features that, you know, gave me Star Wars sort of vibe. You know, it was quite intricate on top. It had like a lot of these types of features. From what I recall, and maybe the wingspan was a bit more like deep like this, but there was like 4 of them. The front of the ship was more like this. Okay, so it probably came out more like this, and there was like the triangular sort of wingspan, but definitely more like this on top, you know, with these sorts of intricacies and details on the top of the actual ship. There was a lot of these types of features from what I recall, or like this. It's definitely not a military looking craft. Well, more like this type of look in the front, and at the back it was 4 triangle type wingspan. Definitely unlike anything I've seen. I even looked up these military crafts. No, it's more like a big fighter, Star Wars ship. It's like a fighter jet. Definitely not anything like our military could do. I also looked up like these shapes here, and it's none of these. It's definitely not a triangle craft like that. And the other 2 that were following me were like this disc shape here, just a classic disc shape, and it had golden light, or like the flying saucer type. It was very typical, these 2, but the accompanying craft that was flanked to the right of the middle ship was a bit more sophisticated in its design. It looked very specific in its use, like for fighting or speed, more like tactical attack type ship. Just to make it clear, it is nothing like I've ever seen, and that I've ever seen anyone being able to capture in any of these typical craft maps that are going around. The other two craft that came that were around Sphere were more, it was a golden light, and it was more like the typical scout looking UFO craft that you see. So it was, if I find a picture of it, I'll put it up. I'm sure I will. I see them all the time, but it's like, it was more like a golden color looking ship, and it was just so full of light. Like there wasn't colorful lights, it was just gold lighting. They both were, these two that came in behind me. One was ended up following me really close and getting in right behind my car, but not too close to run me off the road or anything. I think at the closest it came was maybe like 3 car lengths behind me, and it was close. It was flying in at the same level as the roof of a vehicle, and that's how high it stayed. And it came in close and it followed me for about 20 kilometers at least. What happened was the one in the middle just kept following me, right? And then the one on the left hung back a bit, still flanking it, but sitting just behind it like this. And then that other craft that was there, that was black, that was more aerodynamic and triangular sort of shaped, veered off to the right. Yeah, but it hung back. So it probably was like, you know, in some sort of like triangular arrangement. And it stayed like that for a good 20 kilometers, 20, 30 kilometers. It was a good while that they were following me. And that one in the middle was really close, and the other ones just hung back a bit, like spread out. And when I first saw it, I'm like, what is that? And I thought they were following the car behind me, because it was the one in the middle that was the closest to me, was like right above the top of, like, say that's the car, and it was like hovered here, like the roof, and it was like just sort of following along like that. So I thought it was like, you know, that car. But then, like, as it was just kept following me along that road, that car like wasn't there anymore. You know, it hung back, and I did see another car, maybe a truck, like to my right, but they all seemed to hang back, and I was just being escorted or followed by that one ship in the middle, and I could still see the other 3, and it was the other one to my left, the other golden colored round ship that's the same as the one in the middle, that actually kept flying along the tree line canopy of the gum trees. And I'm like, what is going on? And I just kept driving, and I'm like, what are these things? Like, what is this? And then it occurred to me that I was being followed by a ship, and I was like, what? And I'd never ever had any contact like this. I didn't even think I was going to be abducted or anything. Like, I may have. I don't know, because you know how they, in these stories, they usually take the person out and they have like time anomalies where they missing, hours. But none of that happened. And I didn't get any like weird energy or vibes from it. It was just like, whoa, it's following me. I wasn't really all that phased because, it's like Friday night. I was just, wanted to get to my friend's place and, party, because that's how I coped with life. It was all about working for the weekend. But I was just like going along with it. And it really wasn't, I still, really didn't think much of it. Just that there's like a ship, I guess. And I didn't feel any vibes or anything. It was really strange though that 3 were following me, because they did follow me for like at least 20 Ks. It was quite a substantial amount of time, and it was quite low. All I could see was this big round ball of light just following me behind my car. And yeah, I didn't know what that was all about. Like, why would they follow me? Like, I'm literally nothing special. I have nothing going for me. I'm not some science prodigy. I can barely do math. And so, yeah, explain that one. I would love to know what that was all about, because when it occurred to me that I was eventually, being followed, because I thought it was following the car behind me. I don't understand why it would. And those 3 ships that were following me, they did all come up, lined up right behind my car at the same sort of, they were equidistant to each other and from the ground. So why would they, all 3 of them, be following me and then just like pull back, and the middle ones stayed really close in behind me while the other ones just pulled back a bit? And what was the other craft? The black one that was like a bit triangular. From memory, it doesn't look like a military type craft, but I could be mistaken, because I know like a lot of military have these types of craft, from what I've seen and from what other people have said, like that have claimed to have seen these UAPs or UFOs. So I don't exactly know what's going on there. And I never ever got an answer as to why 3 ships followed me. And because I also got to a point where there were no cars behind me. We seemed to have surpassed the rest of the traffic, because I just kept looking, going, no, it's not following me, it's not following me, it's not following me. Like that's how I was back then. I was totally loose, just, didn't care, not really phased by it. I just wanted to get home and get to my friends, just, get fucked up as you do. I really didn't care. And yeah, I have no idea to this day why that happened. And I've never had another experience since. Maybe like I've seen things flashing in the sky, but I've never actively looked for any of those things, like Stephen Greer and all those C5 fanatics. I've never engaged in that kind of thing, never been interested in it. Actually have put that down on my remote viewing list for a blind remote view. I haven't gotten to it yet, so perhaps one day I will be able to pick that out of my blind mix of numbers that I've created. Maybe I'll get some answers, but until then I have no idea. So yeah, that is so strange, because I'm in Australia and you don't, wow, I know there's a lot more of those types of occurrences that have happened that I was unaware of until like I started taking more notice of this kind of thing, especially in the last 5 years, that for some strange reason I became really interested in UFOs and stuff. Like, I've never been into this kind of thing, so I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to share that story because it's a good one and blew my mind more so now than it did back then. Like, honestly, after it happened, I just forgot all about it. And I remember doing like one of my previous videos where I'm like looking at crafts and going, oh, is that real? Oh my God, it could be. It's totally real. No, it's totally fake. And I totally forgot when I was doing that. I think I even mentioned in one of those videos, no, I've never had an experience. And then I remembered that I did later on. I'm like, remember that time? I mean, you couldn't deny that ships were really close and I could distinctly make it out. You know, it was like the round, typical scout looking UFO craft. And then there was two of those. And then there was the more triangular, aerodynamically shaped, matte black looking craft. So yeah, it looked kind of mean and hardcore, like, you know, that thing to mess around. So yeah, I have no idea what that's all about, but that is my cool little story. And to this day, I have no idea what that was all about. I have no idea why these crafts were following me that night. I just thought it was kind of cool and I wanted to share it because it's kind of something I don't really want to forget. And yeah, it's kind of an interesting type phenomenon because it was really, really close. It's not something that you could mistake. And I'm pretty sure other people saw it because it did come in close. And like I said, there were cars. And I wonder if, you know, they reported it somewhere, but I doubt it. Yeah, that's all I have on that. I just wanted to share it. And I'm probably going to run some music over this because the person next door has been playing guitar and I don't want to get copyright, whatever. So that's why. I think it's a cool little story and I have never been abducted that I know of. Or have I? I don't know. I've had dreams about things. I have a few other little things I might share. Anyway, let me know what you think and why you think they were following me, or if you've been followed. I have no idea. Anyway, that's all I've got.